Also, Luke, what was a video that you were planning to edit, but then came out like?
No, not that video. Okay,
Oh,
so like,
what video?
we're in the car right now because the behind-the-scenes episode footage that I got for Mando and Chief is butchered. The footage is blurry. The sound audio is terrible. You can't hear a goddamn thing. And so here we are now in my car. This is the only day I have where I have another person who can hold the camera and shoot. So the behind-the-scenes videos may just end up like this forever.
Yeah, and the one recording it is a Mexican.
What does that have anything to do with what we're doing?
Mexican.
What does that have anything to do? What does that have anything to do with what we're doing?
The Mexican Spider-Man, that's what. I just got off work. I'm tired, okay?
You're tired, I'm tired. This is a dead end. I hate these streets.
Oh, that's light as.
So what he has just demonstrated is overexposure. So right now the camera is exposed for me, even though the light keeps changing because of where the sun is.
It's still good though.
Right, okay, but because I'm in the shade, you've exposed me for this. So if you try to look outside right now, it's gonna be practically white and super bright.
Yeah, we're in heaven.
Yeah, that's called overexposure. Underexposure is when it's too damn dark.
Hey, the thing's blinking red.
Yes, because it's recording. You are here probably because you have watched our video, The Misadventures of Mando and Chief, also known as Respawn, because that's the first episode. If this video does well, we'll do a second episode and it'll be live action. The whole intent was to have every episode be a different form of media. So one is live action, one is stop motion, one is Lego motion, maybe at some point 3D animated, maybe even an anime, who knows? The point is, we're gonna talk about how I made the damn thing.
Yeah, no, see, look, we'll be fine.
Okay, alright, well then, go ahead and do
Do I
that.
do the dolphin dives?
So I'm on the call with Nick, and he very much wanted to do another comical episode. We did how to play guitar, we had a lot of fun doing it, so now we wanted to...
Not to mention, you guys did the Luke versus Nick.
Luke versus Nick, he wanted to do more comical stuff. For whatever reason, we're still in a pandemic, so the problem was that, and he was working, I was working, you know, how are we supposed to record something when I'm all the way over here? You know, it just doesn't make sense. So we were like, okay, well, what can we do to make it to where we can only use our voices? So we thought about a lot of different stuff. I had an itch to do Lego stop motion, and so here we are finally with Mando and Chief. So when we came up with the idea of, okay, now we know how we're gonna make it, what is the story? Oak Haven? No, that's not where I need to be.
Yeah, that's what.
Oh, is that where I need to be? Then the question is, okay, what was the story going to be about? We knew we wanted it to be a comedy, and so we were like, crap, and we were racking our brains, and everything we came up with was too extravagant, so we were like, But I remembered, I don't delete anything. A few years back, several years back, one of the ways my dad tried to coax me into coming out to his house, which I was very much like, no, don't want to go, da-da-da-da.
Unless it involves with Legos.
Unless it involves Legos. If it's Legos, I will be there in a heartbeat. I told him, I'm like, I want to make some videos with my friends over the summer, and I can't do that because I can't bring my friends with me. And so he's like, oh no, it'll be fine. Just, you know, we'll shoot something, you know, you can shoot something here, we'll help you. His wife goes to work, so it's me, my stepbrother, my step cousin, and my two sisters unsupervised. No, that's not true. My grandma was there. So Dylan's in his room, just chilling, watching anime, as you do. And I am hanging out with my step cousin. I was like, okay, I want to make something. I'm like, who do I have access to? I have access to you. You want to help me? If you're here, we can coax Dylan into it. My sisters aren't going to help me because they refuse to help me on anything. And I doubt I'm going to get my Grandma Laura in front of the camera. We were like, crap, what is the story going to be? And we were goofing around, and we found one of my dad's airsoft pistols. And we were like, dude, this looks real. You know what would be funny? And this is in bad taste as a minor who was in, like, freshman year of high school, okay? All right. What if we made a video where we have a toy gun and we think it's a toy gun, but it's actually a real gun?
Oh.
I understand now as an adult that was in very bad taste. But concept was so funny, I had the whole script written out. Then what happened was, we weren't able to shoot it. So I kept the script because I thought it was funny, and then I took it and you better.
Oh, he's right there.
Oh, there he is.
As we find the wild wildebeest.
Was that an Autobot?
Yes. Yeah, other side. Sorry, we gotta deliver a 3D printer to somebody.
Oh! Let's forget.
We have captured the wild wildebeest.
Bunga bunga.
So I took the script and we updated it, so we changed it around. So I play as myself, or in this case, the Mandalorian. Caleb is then switched with Master Chief, voiced by my cousin Nick, and then we have Dylan, who is replaced with the Mexican Spider-Man. We recorded the lines, we recorded the dialogue, and then shot the movie. So that was the premise of how we came up with the story and the shenanigans that we came up with.
No.
That was live history. I have the app. This thing's stupid. Someone.
I remember the next part. I have to explain composition because Mia asked about composition.
What's composition?
Composition in film is the layering of all the stuff that's added to it. Composition, first off, you need to know about the rule of thirds. And the rule of thirds is basically framing. Basically, you take it, you got 2 lines this way and 2 lines that way, right?
Tic-tac-toe.
Exactly, tic-tac-toe. You got a tic-tac-toe grid. And so in the top horizontal line is your eye line. When you have a character, you really want to have their eyes line up with that line. Or, that's also called the horizon line. If you have landscape, or if you have a wide shot, you want the horizon line to be where that line is, where the land meets the sky. The vertical lines, you want your subject to line up with one of those 2 vertical lines. So a little bit to the left, and a little bit to the right. Sometimes you want it straight on, sometimes you can break the rule. It just depends on your shot. But if you watch any movie at all, you will see that a character is on the little bit on the left or a little bit on the right. And one of my favorite shots that depicts the rule of thirds is from Lord of the Rings. There is a shot specifically in the
Return of the King.
Okay.
Return of the King.
When Aragorn and Legolas are in Rohan. It's at the nighttime sky. You've got Legolas who takes up the center of the frame, who is on the right side of Aragorn. Aragorn takes up the right side of the frame and is closer to the camera, so he's like he's in the foreground. And in the background, on the bottom horizontal line, you see where the valley meets the mountains, and on the horizon line, you see the peak of the mountains where they meet the sky. And it is the best shot to depict the rule of thirds to the max, and it's one of my favorite shots. But that's basically the 2 thirds.
Fuck.
And that's all about framing, and that's just one part of composition. That's just one part of it. Other parts of composition are the coloring, what your character is wearing, the color of the background, the setting, what's in the shot itself, like what are the chairs you're sitting in, what are all those. One of the things about composition and just things like The Matrix. Okay, so one of the other cool things about like The Matrix and one of the things that it shows about composition, in the movie, whenever you're in The Matrix, everything is tinted green. When you're in the real world, everything is tinted blue because the world has been up and destroyed and the machines run it and the sky's been blacked out. The world is now blue. So when you're in the real world, it's blue, but then when you're in the computer program to reflect the code of the green code, everything is tinted with a green hue in the Matrix. And so that's something about coloring that you can, about composition that you can use in your own films. So the way we used composition was more in the set building, where I wanted to make sure we knew that we were in an apartment and not just generic Lego background with flat brick in the back.
Wait, we're living in an apartment?
Yes. Did I not do my job? So one of the things that I wanted to make sure is that when you look at Mando and Chief, there are things in the background for those characters. You can see, if you look closely in the background, you can see that there's the Lego web pieces for Spider-Man. You can see that there are barrels of weapons for Master Chief because he just stocks up on all kinds of weapons. And then you can see like 2 people frozen in carbonite in the back because, you know, Mando collects bounties, and so why wouldn't he bring work home sometimes?
Isn't there like a miniature Razorcraft too?
There is a mini Razor Crest, but I don't know if it actually appears in any of the shots.
You guys doing stop motion?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the first episode of Mando and Chief.
You haven't seen it yet, Brandon, but you will.
I want to see it.
Because if you're watching this video now, it is now live on the YouTube channel. So Brandon, go click on that link at the bottom of the description and go watch it.
Plug it in.
Plug it in? Alright.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
Oh, Master Chief, he just punched something. And Mando, ooh!
That's not all what happened.
Screen, right?
Green Screening Studios.
You can find it on the link on the other channels on Couch Party Inc., which is the gaming channel.
Yes. Link in the description. Alright, I'm gonna go.
You want to stop recording? Or keep recording?
Go ahead and stop recording, yeah. Okay, so fun lesson in just being a good person. So I was fixing my buddy's 3D printer just because it's like I wanted to see if I could do it, because if I could do it, I'd feel like Iron Man and just get a huge shot of dopamine. And then I fixed it, and I was even talking to my stepdad. Okay, I was talking to my stepdad. I'm like, watch him give me the Stormtrooper helmet, because we were talking about it. And he's like, do you want it? If you 3D print me this, will you do it? And I'm like, well, if you 3D print something to me through fiber, the adult in me really needs the cash. The child would say yes to the helmet. Well, I fixed his printer, and he gave me the helmet.
Oh, I didn't get that.
Yeah, he I fixed the printer, he gave me the helmet.
Oh yeah, my thoughts on him being a director. Yeah, it was alright.
His answers won't change because I'm in the car, I swear.
He was very calm as a director. He's not very strict, as he said earlier. You know, I asked him if it was okay if I put the mask on because, you know, the Spider-Man mask sounds a little muffled. So that he was cool with it. He's not very strict.
Ironically, our test audiences did not like that, but...
What? Really? Why?
Because Mia, okay, I say test audience, I said Mia.
With these.
Or it is actually Mia, but Mia was saying to me about how hard it was to understand you a little bit. But I mean, I just thought it was ironic. I just thought it was ironic that you bring that up.
What was Nick's thoughts on it?
Nick laughed his If it was anything, I don't think we really had to change anything from the rough cut too much. The rough cut will be available on our Patreon if you want to see what... I'm sorry, not the rough cut, the Previz. Because that was something I did differently for this movie, is that for the first time, I used Previz. In a normal film situation, in the regular pipeline, there would be a storyboard. Somebody would draw out every shot of the film, and sometimes go even farther to edit it in the computer into a sequence with music and sound effects and voice lines so you can watch the movie. So you can kind of watch it before the movie's ever made and before you lock anything down so you can get an idea of pacing and how that stuff goes. With that, I took the Legos, I fixed them in one position, took a picture, moved in the next position, took a picture. Pretty much very, very, very slow stop motion where it was 1 frame a second or 1 frame every 2 to 3 seconds depending on the line to get a better idea of how it would flow and how it would go. And so we did change up some things. So like in the Previz, it just has black and white text that says Mando shoots Spider-Man like 40 times in the head. Well, and it was only Mando shooting. But I found that wasn't funny enough, so I swapped the scene out to where not only does he use the same blue and orange gun that they find, a Lego Nerf gun if you will, but when I bought Master Chief, he came in a pack with the Arbiter and a bunch of Halo weapons. So you see Mando pull out another gun and Chief pull out 2 SMGs and is just going ham on this kid, killing him. And then at the end he goes, well, that was a little excessive. So there are some differences we made with the Previz and the rough cut, or in the official cut. If you want to go see the Previz, it is on our Patreon. If you donate $3 a month, that money goes to more projects like this and more content. So maybe support us. If you guys got any questions about how we made this film, leave it down in the comments because I will be more than happy to answer them on the next episode of Behind the Couch. I'm so glad I got that helmet.
We'll see you in the next one. Peace.